wanted to say thank you very much for having me here, and I'm going to step closer to the mic so you can hear me. First of all, there's a lot of makers in the room, and I just wanted to give yourself a hand, because making things is really hard, and honor yourself a little bit for just a moment. Thank you. As a designer, I love beautiful, well-crafted things. I can obsess over finding the perfect font. I love aligning things to grids. And I love the tools that allow us to make really beautiful, compelling things that don't exist yet. Working with Lean Startup, I've come to recognize that these precious, beautiful things aren't always the things that move us forward as quickly as we need to. What's important is to make things and invalidate our ideas and get things in front of people. I've learned to embrace ugly. I've learned to draw with pen and paper. I really believe that sketching is a valuable tool for every person who wants to be a maker. And I believe everyone can draw. If you can make a triangle, a square, a circle, you can combine these elements and make sketches of interfaces and experiences. And I like to think of it as sketching as a kind of visual shorthand that we use to work through our thoughts and communicate our ideas. When you start using these techniques together as a team, it's a form of making, which is better, in my opinion, than talking. And as you sketch as a group, you become more familiar with the techniques, and over time, you put it on the wall, and it's just a bunch of ideas on the wall, and you can't tell what was drawn by an engineer, and what was drawn by a designer, and what was drawn by a product owner. Everyone draws. I believe that cross-functional pairing is very important. I believe that designers and developers should work together, particularly on the details of working out interactions and styling. At the end of the day, the digital products that we're making are made of code. We have to get familiar with the materials of construction. And when designers and developers work together, it helps us bridge from us and them thinking and come to a place where we feel like a team. And I work very hard to increase my code literacy and try to understand enough of the code that I can participate in a team. And I work hard to increase the design literacy of my colleagues so we can be a team and work together. Lean Startup is great for design. It gives us an opportunity to make small, lightweight things, put them out in the world, learn from our mistakes, and get better. We can take many of the things we already do and make them more quick and visual and collaborative and continuous. Here's a little story I'd like to share with you about a project where I got over myself and I learned to embrace ugly. This is a company called Innovation Games that makes a series of serious games for doing really wonderful products. I recommend you look them up later. We had a very audacious objective. We wanted to make a new game platform that eventually would be web, mobile, a whole bunch of different ideas. We decided that we would start by making a consumer pass and play game for the iPad, and we'd get it into the App Store within 1 month. And this was audacious because none of us had ever made an iPad game before. So when we started, we had some screen sketches, and these weren't really serving the team's needs because they didn't reflect a shared understanding of the product and how it was going to work. The first thing that we did as a team is we took a step back and we used sketching just to communicate with each other and to externalize what we were thinking. What this is I asked the developer on the product to just talk to me about his idea of the flows of the game and draw me the screens, and this is what he produced. And then the little thin sketches are my own scribblings. And this was it looks ugly, right? But it was a very powerful tool for helping us get alignment on what we were doing and why. And then I made a mistake. I went back into my comfort zone. I went back into my design comfort zone, and I went off all by myself, and I spent a lot of time making scenarios. I spent 20 hours over a weekend making a huge, complicated Visio wireframe. And it was very helpful once I brought it back to the team and we spread it all out on the wall. And what you see there is a whole bunch of annotations and marks and people cutting it up and owning it, which was really fabulous. But then I had a problem. We'd all reached this point where we'd had these great ideas, but I became a bottleneck. People were like, well, when can we have it back? And I thought, oh no, another 2 days of death. And then I realized I had to do something. I couldn't let my team down. And I thought, well, what's the lightest weight, quickest thing I can do? I made a paper prototype. So I grabbed my paper and my sticky notes and my pens and my blue tape, And I made the game in a layer of paper with sticky notes that you move around. And I took it to the team and we passed it around the table. We played the game together. And I can't describe to you what happened in that moment. We all, like, our faces lit up and we were having fun and we realized we understood the game. We knew what we were making. And in that moment, we were free. We could break apart and the front-end developer could work on the work independently and the back-end developer could work on the database. And it bought me enough time that I could then create a lighter weight, clickable, balsamic prototype that just reflected all of the good thinking that we had worked on together. So I just want to say, we got it into the store in a month. We actually got it approved. And you can learn a lot more by selling a simple, small game to people and getting it out there in the world than you can learn by months and months of thinking. And it supported our goal to create a platform. And we have multiple versions of consumer games, and now we're beginning to explore the sort of the ultimate goal, the vision the stakeholder had initially, which was to use it as a tool for salespeople. So I thank you very much for inviting me, and I encourage all of you to get out a pencil and get out a piece of paper and sketch something today. Thank you.